Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Marlene Marks, bringing you the top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday, right here on this very platform. And if you want your news or your Israel Brief not on platform but on YouTube, well, that's easy. You can just look for our channel. It's called the Israel Brief, and hit the subscribe button, and that will notify you every time we bring you an update. In our community there is growing, and we would love you to be a part of it. It really helps to get Israel's side of the story out to the masses. But what we're here to do is bring you the headlines, so let's get right to it. And we start, as we do every day, with a look at where Israel is as far as the COVID-19 crisis is concerned. And there has been a significant spike in infections, and earlier today, Prime Minister Netanyahu summoned the powers that be to enforce tighter control over the various restrictions with regards to coronavirus. But it's not all doom and gloom, despite the fact that our science minister, Ezra Shah, had to go into quarantine because his aide has tested positive for corona. We do have some positive developments. Earlier today, United Airlines from America announced that starting the 10th of July, they would be resuming flights between San Francisco and Tel Aviv. Israel has also been voted the third safest country with regards to coronavirus is concerned. And we welcomed 51 new immigrants from the USA to our shores. So even though we have seen these ups and downs, there is still some positive news. But let's take a look at those important stats, and we can report that since the start of the pandemic, 18,268 confirmed cases have been reported, with 299 fatalities. At the moment, there are 2,801 people who are infected, including a number of staff and teachers from schools, which we have been speaking about over the last week or so. But some of the schools that were closed are starting to reopen. 31 people are in serious condition and 24 need ventilators, and 15,168 people have made full recovery. In other news, one of the big controversial topics at the moment is whether or not Israel will annex parts of the West Bank. And last night, Israel's High Court ruled that the 2017 settlements law is unconstitutional. The law would see some 4,000 unauthorized settler outposts retroactively annexed, and the High Court dealt a blow to the Prime Minister's annexation plans by saying that that is unlawful. Also today, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas is in the country, his first overseas visit since the start of the coronavirus crisis, and he is here to appeal to Israel not to move forward with annexation plans. He did not discuss any penalties, but he has said that in the opinion of the European Union, this would be in violation of international law. He had a very positive meeting with his Israeli counterpart, the new Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi, and in the meeting, Foreign Minister Ashkenazi thanked him for outlawing Hezbollah and Germany's commitment to Holocaust education. And in final news, those of us who are on social media a lot will have noticed that over the last week or so, with the protests surrounding the murder of George Floyd by members of the Minnesota police force, there has been a lot of controversy insofar as anti-Israel groups have tried to hijack the narrative and blame Israel for the goings on, or for the incident that happened. In particular, the Democratic Socialists of America were circulating a cartoon which compared police officer Chauvin with his knee on George Floyd's neck, and what appeared to be an IDF officer with his knee on the neck of a Palestinian. Now, this has prompted Israel's police spokesperson, Mickey Rosenfeld, to make a statement, and he has said that any of the attempts to compare Israel or to bring Israel into the narrative is misguided and is absolutely untrue. It's a complete lie, and he says that the Israeli police do not enforce any tactics by putting their knees on anybody who they are arresting's neck. It's a complete untruth. In fact, the image that many of the anti-Israelists were trying to circulate on social media, in particular Twitter, was a photograph of what looked like an army officer with his knee on the neck of what could have been construed as a Palestinian. On closer inspection, this did not even take place in Israel or the Middle East. This took place in Chile, a country in South America, and it was a member of the Chilean police force who was doing that, which is a reminder to everybody out there: don't just take anything at face value. Look at the evidence very, very clearly and make sure that in these cases where there are activists trying to hijack the narrative, that we have a very clear understanding of what actually happened. So those are the top stories making headlines today. Don't forget, you can check out our content. It's all online at www.layoftheland.online. You can read stories from the Arab world that you won't see in the mainstream media, but you will see on our website. Also, don't forget, we have a Facebook page, and like us, follow us. If you're watching the Israel Brief via Facebook, pop on over to our Facebook page, give us a like and a follow. Don't forget to share our content, and don't forget our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. So with the Hump Day edition of the Israel Brief, I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all a safe, a peaceful and a healthy Wednesday, and we'll chat again tomorrow.